Welcome to day 4 of the Local Ad Advantage series. Today's my favorite day. We're talking about testing, tracking, and optimizing your ads for highest return on ad spend possible. What's not fun about that, right? So, in my opinion, this is where the magic happens when it comes to Facebook ads, because this is what can make you so profitable, not just visible, right? There's a difference. If you're not already optimizing your ads based on results, you're basically doing what a boosted post does. So one and done, little data, no strategy. This is part of the difference between boosting posts and running actual ads from the ads manager, but I don't ever hear other ads people talking about this as the difference. The reason Facebook ads can work so well is because you can feed the ads manager several different combinations or different types of ads and get real-time data on which one is actually converting versus which ones are not. When you boost a post, you're putting all of your money into one basket and hoping that it works. Okay, so there's a bunch of other ways that boosting posts and running ads are two different things, but that's one of the big ones. So in this video, we're going to talk about why tracking your data and optimizing your ads matter. We're going to talk about how to do testing and what it is. We're going to talk about how to optimize. I'm going to give you a couple of numbers that you can go and look at in your ad manager right now. And then I'm going to give you some real client examples from my program of how optimizing has completely changed the trajectory of their ads. Okay, so let's talk about why tracking, testing, and optimizing matters. Once you know what to look for, you can stop guessing and start making informed decisions. How peaceful and good does that sound to know exactly what is working, exactly what is not working, and exactly what you should do next because of the data that you have? I have so many people that come into my program and they just want confidence in their marketing, because you might not realize this, but the mental energy that it's stealing from you when you're constantly wondering what you should do, not sure what works, throwing spaghetti at the wall is draining you and taking away from the focus that you could be putting into serving your clients, moving your business forward, supporting your team, what have you. So that's another reason why I think this is the most important piece here. It gives you so much power in your own advertising and in the growth of your business. Not to mention just simply understanding what quote unquote good results are versus not. That can be a game changer too, right? The other thing is that if you're working on smaller budgets, like $10 a day or less, we need to make sure that those $10 are getting spent in the best way possible, because it's not a lot of money to get you in front of these masses of people, right? You're going to get in front of whatever that's worth in your industry. That's a whole nother thing. But we don't want to waste any of that because it's already a small amount. Okay, so that's where tracking, testing, and optimizing comes in. Okay, let's talk about what is testing as far as Facebook ads and my strategy that I teach in my program. Testing means running several ads at the same time together to watch how each of them perform. Like I said in the beginning, we're going to go through a couple numbers that I look at, but obviously the biggest one is just conversions. Which ads are getting more leads? Which ones are making more sales? That's the simplest way to test and track. Okay, so what you do is you run several ads inside of one ad set, which means it puts it under one budget. So you can still test with small budgets. Okay, and then Facebook chooses how to spend your budget across the ads that you have together. It's meant to be based on performance or on predictions that they have on what's going to work better, but that isn't always exactly what we want. So that's where the optimizing part comes in. It's so important to test different things because then, again, you're not putting all of your money into one basket and hoping that it works. You've got some different chances for things converting. And then it also helps you just gather that data so that you can start making decisions. If you aren't testing different things and you're only running one ad and you say that doesn't work, I'm going to say, what else have you tried? And if it's nothing, then we don't have a lot to go off of. Versus if you've tried a reel and a graphic together and the reel generated 6 leads for $100 total, let's say, and the graphic generated 1 lead for $100 total, okay, obviously the reel works better. Let's make some decisions based off of that. This is how you find your winners. And once you find your winners, everything gets easier. So I love telling the story about my client, Jen. She owns a car detailing shop. We put together several different ads for her. She would run graphics with certain promotions. She would do reels. But anytime she did a photo with just a before picture of a really messy car and then an after photo of a spotless, clean car, people would book, people would call, off the hook. And then, of course, you can't run the same ad forever and ever, so eventually it would die out. She would try other things, and they would do fine. But she would create a new before and after, or maybe she does it in a reel form where she shows the before video and then shows the after. And again, her ads just always seem to take off whenever she used before and afters. Now, every once in a while, she is trying other things, but she knows she can always work in a before and after of some sort if she wants to see conversions on her ads. Okay, so that's what I mean by testing. And of course, inside my program, I walk you through exactly how to set that up in the Ads Manager. And we always can talk in Slack or on a group call about what types of things to test against each other. Now let's move into optimizing. Optimization sounds fancy, but it's not. This is literally what optimization is. 1, look at your numbers. 2, identify what's working versus what's not. 3, make small tweaks to improve performance. Sometimes this looks like simply turning off an ad that is not performing. Sometimes this looks like duplicating the ad and just changing out the first line of the copy because our click rates aren't performing the way we want them to. Sometimes it means testing a new photo. Okay, small tweaks, not big changes, not starting over. Making small tweaks along the way. They take you 10 minutes to get in there and do. And then you're able to get data fast and keep making those tweaks. Okay, I just think about it in comparison to organic marketing, where you put up a post, it has a shelf life of maybe 24 hours if you're lucky. You get a couple of engagements on it, barely any data. And then you're wondering, should I do another reel like that? Should I do something else? I have no idea. I have no idea what works here. Such a waste of time to put all your energy into that and not simply spend $10 a day on your ads. I will die on that hill. Okay, and then the last thing I want to touch on before I get into specific numbers is tracking. So when you're in my program, you will get a spreadsheet template that you can use to track the numbers that are important to track. We want to track how many people are becoming leads, how much it's costing to get those leads, how many of those leads are turning into actual clients. Because when you don't do that, you're constantly wondering, is this working? Is this doing better than before? Is this doing worse? I have clients that always are wanting to change things, so they'll learn about testing and optimizing, and they're constantly like, what should I change next? What should I change next? But we go back and look at their data, and they're making like 8, 9, 10 times return on their ad spend with the ads that are running. And I'm like, sister, leave them be. Go live your life while your ads do the heavy lifting. We know that they're working because of the tracking, right? And then I'm also able to give you like industry standard numbers on what you should be looking for as far as your industry and cost per lead and lead to sale conversion rate and all of these more technical things that sound techie, but are actually so simple. And once you lay out the numbers, it makes it so clear for you exactly what to try next. Okay, so let's talk about a couple actual numbers here. I'm going to throw out some terms that are going to sound a little bit jargony, a little bit techie, but I'm going to break them down so they're so simple. These are the types of things that I will look at when I do your ad data audit reviews that you can do every 7 days of data that you have on your ads, where I will go in and I will look at the numbers we're working with and tell you what I think about your ad performance. The first one is called the cost per lead. How much do you have to spend to get a new lead? This varies and is different between all industries, between all ad types. Very speaking, seeing a cost per lead between $10 and $25 is great. So if you're running lead ads, I'd be curious, what's your cost per lead? Of course, some industries are going to be more expensive, some are going to be less. But this simply just refers to how much do you need to spend to get one lead in the door. So if your lead cost is around $10 and you're spending around $10 a day, you can expect to get one lead in the door every single day. Do you have a streamlined way to bring in one lead every single day? Or are you going weeks at a time without leads coming in? Or are you not sure of where exactly your next lead is going to come from? Just something to think about. This makes things so predictable for you. The next number that we look at together is your conversion rates. There's two types of conversion rates. One is a landing page or a form conversion rate. So if you're sending people to a website and you're asking them to put in their name and their phone number, or you're sending them to a form and asking for the same thing, there's going to be that number of people who click on the form or click on your website, and there's going to be a smaller number that actually go through with it, fill it out, and become a lead. Usually it's only around 20 to 30% of people who are clicking on the form are actually becoming a lead. So to get 20 leads, you might need 100 people to click your link. If it's really low, like I've seen 2%, 5%, that's something that we have to think about as far as where we're sending people for your ads, because you're getting a ton of interest and a ton of clicks, but nobody actually submitting their information. So that's something we can troubleshoot together. The other type of conversion rate is of those leads, how many of them are actually turning into new clients. So my client Danielle, who owns a cleaning business, brought in 10 leads in 1 week, called them all, was able to get a hold of 4 of them, and all 4 of those people that she got a hold of became new clients. 10 leads, 4 new clients. It's a 40% lead to sale conversion rate. Okay, so getting into some of these can sometimes be more advanced. It's not something that you need to be tripped up on. If you're not going to be able to track those things, that's not a reason to not run ads. Again, this is just once we get things rolling and things working and we want to scale them up so that you can keep growing. These are numbers that we like to look at. A very simple number that if you're running ads, you can go look at right now is click-through rates. In Ads Manager, those are going to be referenced as CTR. There's 2 different kinds of click rates. CTR all, which means they clicked anywhere on your ad, or link click-through rate. In general, a rule of thumb for your link click-through rate is we want it to be 1% or higher. Okay, so go check that if you're running ads and see if your LCTR is 1% or higher. In my course, I talk all about exactly what to do and what to try if your link click-through rate is not 1% or higher, along with a couple of other numbers we like to look at. The bottom line here is that every number tells a story about where people are dropping off and exactly what to fix, and that's exactly what I help you with those ad data reviews that you get unlimited access to inside my program. Okay, lastly, I want to talk about 2 super special clients who saw amazing results from their ads just from using testing, tracking, and optimizing strategies that I teach in my program. One is my client, Mindy. She's a dog trainer. When she came into the program, she had tried Facebook ads in the past, but she wasn't doing any of this. And she would think a couple leads would come through. She couldn't track them back to the ads exactly, but then the leads weren't great and she didn't feel comfortable continuing to run her ads because she didn't have that clarity that we've been talking about. She got clarity with my program. She started testing different things and she jumped on a weekly coaching call and asked for some feedback on how her ads were doing. And I asked if she had done any optimizations yet, and she hadn't because she wanted my feedback first, which I totally understand. So we went in, we looked, and I saw that one of her ads was getting a lot of the ad spend, one of the ones that she was testing, but it wasn't the one that was getting more leads. One of the ads was getting, say, an $8 cost per lead, and the other one was getting closer to a $25 or $30 cost per lead, but all of the money was going to that $25 or $30 one. So right on the call, she turned that ad off so that all of the money that she was using to test those two ads goes only to the ad that was getting an $8 cost per lead. The next week, she jumped on the call again and she said, something magical happened. 4 new clients booked after we made that optimization because I started getting a lot more leads in, because for every $8 she was spending, she was getting a new lead instead of every $30. And then 4 of those new leads became new clients. Mindy has an incredible story. I have a testimonial from her on the sales page of the program of her over doubling her revenue because of her ads, hiring new support inside her small business, and just her transformation and confidence with her social media marketing is incredible. So go check that out. My other client, this just happened recently, is my client Dana, who owns an interior paint company. We did the same exact thing. She was testing several different types of ads. She hadn't made any optimizations yet. We tweaked one, and that's when she sent me an email. Same deal, where when she turned off the underperforming ads, she started getting a lot more leads in, and she was able to close an $18K project because of those optimizations. Okay, so this is the power of understanding your numbers and adjusting strategically. The good news is that you're usually never far off. You just need that second set of eyes or a few little tweaks or insight about what to tweak to get to where you're trying to go. Understanding how to test, how to track, how to optimize is so important because the truth is you don't need these big budgets or to hire agencies to run your ads, because a lot of times what happens is agencies ask for these big budgets with the hopes of more results sneaking through due to the higher spend. The unfortunate thing is that when you go with a big agency, they often have account managers on so many different accounts that they don't have time to be going in and checking on your ads every single day and making these optimizations. When you're spending $10 a day or even up to $20, you actually don't even have to check on them every day. It can be an every couple days kind of thing, but you do need to check on them every once in a while. And then in order to check on them and actually make those optimizations, you need the ability to understand what the numbers are telling you. Understanding these things makes your ads reliable, predictable, and scalable. It's not a gamble to advertise when you understand what you're looking for. This is exactly what I teach you inside Hometown Advantage. You'll learn exactly what numbers matter and which ones don't. You'll get those unlimited ad reviews and ad data optimization reviews, so you're never making optimization decisions alone. You'll get that custom feedback on which ad is performing well, which one to turn off, what to tweak, what to test next. This is the secret sauce to how my clients go from ads don't work for me, quote unquote, to, oh my gosh, I just booked out my entire month. Now is the perfect time to jump into Hometown Advantage. Start learning this. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that happens slowly and day after day, showing up for yourself, for your business, for your own growth. That if you start now, a couple months from now, things can be totally different about how you feel about advertising and marketing. The link to join is below. I can't wait to see you inside or in part 5, where we're going to talk about automating and scaling these ads up to the moon, baby.